Hi, I'm Sadiq,
And I'm Cristian.
and this is episode 3 of Voxels. We're starting with a better discourse than last time. I gotta say this one is more interesting, at least less about a kind of game that I don't like. It's about we got.
Okay, so let me wait. Before I even introduce the topic, all right, let's take a step back, and I want to talk to you. I want to come clean on not engaging faithfully with the discourse because I have been living for this drama. You know, like I'm not the kind of person who's like watching, the PC YouTube clickbait where it's like AMD lied, Intel cheated. I don't watch that stuff. But for this one, so this week's discourse is the Xbox going third party stuff, and I have been with an ad blocker on in incognito. I'm sorry, none of you deserve ad views or any money for this content because it is objective garbage. But I've been living to watch the "Did Phil lie?" YouTube videos.
Okay, so before we like go into it, I think we should like say what we're talking about here. Like, what's the so hash quote unquote credible sources have said that like this news started sort of bubbling up. Like multiple sources have sort of come out and said that Microsoft is thinking about like Microsoft is going to not just thinking about Microsoft is going to put uh previously Xbox exclusive games on PlayStation and uh like they're like moving away from exclusives, basically like Starfield is going to be on PlayStation, stuff like that. So they're just like this is the plan going forward, and Microsoft officially has not said this. They will have a press release thing right next this upcoming week. There's going to be like a
They said they put a tweet out saying, or sorry, a sheet, whatever you call them on X now. They put out some sheet saying that damn, I didn't even think of that. That just came off the top of my head. Write it down. But anyways, so they put down a post stating, "Hey, we're listening, and next week we are going to have a business communication on the future of the business platforms or something like that."
or that's sure that's a corporate press release word. Sure. Yeah, so it's something is going to happen. We don't know the like exact details. Obviously, all we've heard is basically like leaks and rumors, and nothing definite yet. But which, of course, means that everybody, literally every gaming outlet, everybody who cares about video games, is talking about this topic. And so are we, because it's a great it's like one of those topics where you could just endlessly like debate and talk about like what is going to happen. So first of all, what's your thought? Like what's like the overarching thought on this?
I don't think we actually introduced the news properly because the rumor is Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, and Sea of Thieves would be going to PlayStation and or Switch. I mean, good. Like I don't see what the issue is with this.
Yeah, there's no problem. There's literally, I think if you've been like dealing with Microsoft exclusive for the last like I'd say like 5 years, you'd have noticed that Microsoft has steadily cared less and less about exclusives as they are, because they want people, they care about like their big play. I've been talking about this for literally years now, is that we is services. Like they don't it's the ecosystem play. They don't care about the Xbox hardware as it is. The Xbox hardware is nice, and it's like here you can play all of the games on the Xbox platform, but they're thinking bigger, right? They're thinking that they can sell these games on Steam, as they have been doing for the last like few years. Like Forza Horizon 5 is on Steam, right? Like all these Microsoft quote unquote exclusives are on Steam and not just on the Windows hashtag or Microsoft store, right? So Microsoft is just like, these games are going to be everywhere now. Like whatever platform wants these games can have these games. That's the rumor. Yeah, that's the rumor.
Well, that's the rumor. To be clear, that's the rumor. We don't have it confirmed yet. I want to just interject for one moment because I just want to point out the absurdity of a little something I've been seeing in the in the Xbox land. Sony ponies, Samsung Knights.
Jesus Christ.
But basically, it's been a lot of people being like, well, why have a console if the games were exclusive? And I'm just sitting here being like, so why buy a Surface if you can build a gaming PC? Like, it seems what these gamers don't understand is Microsoft's whole plan forever and ever has always been to just put all of their software on other platforms, right? Like, imagine if we had this conversation, right? Let's swap out a few vowels, in this game of Mad Libs. So, computer enthusiasts this week are mad because Microsoft decided to put Microsoft Office on Mac, therefore killing its Windows exclusivity.
Yeah, so this argument, I think this is like partly like I guess you could call it the fault of like the marketing of like a decade plus of marketing from PlayStation, from Sony, and from Microsoft. Like the companies are the blame for the marketing thing over here. It's like they have been sort of like marketing their devices as like, you should play video games here. We got the good games. We got the exclusive games, right? And sort of, I think this is like the end result of that. Like now you're at a point where like people are like invested, quote unquote, invested into these platforms. People have spent thousands of dollars on hardware, on video games, on services, on these platforms, right? And that now I kind of understand it, like from a certain like point of view, because I'm not invested. So it's like very outsider. Like I don't buy any of this shit. But a lot of people who've been buying like an Xbox since like the original Xbox days, like people who have had an Xbox 360, had an Xbox One, have an Xbox Series S or X, like they're like fully invested into like the Xbox brand, right? They buy games on Xbox. They've been on Xbox Live, Xbox Live Gold or whatever it used to be called. I forget. Like so that like they're fully invested. It's like a part of their identity at this point, which is kind of depressing, but like it is. So I kind of understand why people are like, what would happen to Xbox without exclusives? Because exclusives have been part of the identity, right? Like when I think of even as a non-console gamer, like when I think of Xbox exclusive, I think Halo, right? Halo is like the big tentpole, or it used to be, really. Halo used to be like the big tentpole Xbox exclusive, right? Like if whenever people thought of Xbox, they thought Halo or Call of Duty, right? Even though Call of Duty was never exclusive to Xbox, Call of Duty was like massive because of like the popularity of like Xbox 360, right? Like and like the Xbox Live sort of online service. Like there's a whole identity that they have created for the last like however many years, and that all of a sudden people are just like, wait a second, like you mean to say my investment is not gonna like not continue to be like rewarded?
Oh my god!
Right?
Thinking about games consoles as an investment.
Exactly.
This is not.
I'm not even joking, right? It's an emotional investment. Right? It's not even like I talk about financial investment, also like really it's like an emotional investment. You feel sentimental about the hardware, right, or the software, which is I kind of understand why. Like if you're been in the ecosystem for a long time, since like the beginning, or like since the Xbox 360, like you're like is like Phil Spencer betraying Xbox, like like it's
Phil lied.
and it seems silly to me from an outsider point of view, but I kind of get it. Like it's really kind of like it's, if you really think about it for a second, it's like people are just like kind of mad that games that they can play that other people get to play, and they're like, no, they don't get to play these games. These games are for us specifically. So it's just like exclusives are bad. Like that's all I'm going to say. Like this whole, I hope this means that if Microsoft goes ahead with this, and it does mean that exclusives, like one big video game publisher is just like, no, we're not going to do exclusives anymore. I hope this just means that exclusives become less and less important, because I just find them honestly kind of just really annoying, and it's bad for everybody. Like it's not good to have exclusives. It's like you could argue that exclusives are the reason some games get made, right? But at the same time, I'm like, what does it even?
Let's use other language to phrase this. Is ecosystem lock-in good or bad? Right? This is what this is. Exclusives are ecosystem lock-in. This is the iMessage of Xbox.
the blue bubbles. No, we're not doing blue bubble.
Also, I want to introduce gamers to something called the European Union. And the reason is, so right now the DMA does not target video game consoles. But all the same language you're using for iOS and Android, like you could just apply that to a PlayStation or an Xbox, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's someone at Microsoft doing the napkin math, and it's like, given how much we're trying to force, to get an Xbox game store, Microsoft store on iOS and Android, at what point do they just look at us and say, your console? And at what point does it just not make sense to even run the same console business model with how multiple countries outside of North America, apparently the US and Canadian governments are too busy banning flipper zeros instead of deciding digital markets. But at what point does it not make sense to just say, fuck it, we'll go third party? And here's my conspiracy theory. I don't think Microsoft is going to do this, but I think they should. Genuinely, I think at the Xbox platform, like that OS, should just be a SKU of Windows sold to OEMs. And Microsoft should just start making money off of selling the software and allow third-party game stores onto the Xbox platform.
I don't think is going to happen, but
it should.
That should, but that seems unlikely. I think.
Well, that's how you get around also the question of, well, what do you do with the console platform now that you're putting games on other platforms? Because we don't know if it's all or not, but some are going to other platforms. So we know that some Call of Duty is going to stay, and other games, probably Sea of Thieves, some of the live service ones, are going to go to another platform. So in that case, then I don't know. I would say they should just say fuck it and go 10,000 feet in terms of, we have our Surface like Xbox devices if you want to buy that one, but you can also buy this weird Alienware one that has shit cooling if you want.
So so the Xbox hardware sort of becomes like this like Halo product, right? Not to make a
the reference platform. So what Surface works is Microsoft gives out a lot of the tech for services. So I know you haven't used a Windows laptop in forever, but the reason why Windows laptops no longer have shit trackpads is Microsoft basically gave every OEM the trackpad using a Surface.
Okay. Yeah, that's So reference platform, and we got like sort of OEMs like, I don't know, Asus or like whoever else. Like, you got the people who making like the ROG Ally, the Asus ROG Ally, right? Like stuff like that is, but like
the ROG box.
A ROG box. Jesus, yeah, no, but like it could happen. Like this is the thing is like this, like theoretically, there's no technical barrier to this, right? Like there is like, I don't think there's like really a technical barrier to this. It's just that Microsoft has to decide this is the play, and they're gonna sort of open up the Xbox hardware ecosystem to like actually like more internal sort of competition like within the ecosystem.
It's just weird that Xbox is the only part of Microsoft that's still vertically integrated. That to me, it's like it doesn't match of anything of what else they do, right? Like in theory, I would assume there's probably more money for a company like Microsoft to be made in selling game developer tools, selling game backend services, Azure, right? And then Xbox mobile services, and then also having Xbox Live services that you can like port in a box. They already have that with their game something. They have a service like that some games run off of. I remember it was the one that
Azure PlayFab. I think PlayFab, yeah.
Yeah, PlayFab. There we go. Yeah, because I remember that one Magician Battle Royale game we played was running off of PlayFab. So really like putting those services out and then just like piecemeal letting people, integrate whatever part of Xbox they want is probably the better way to go versus just having a box that's losing. Because you're losing on two sides, right? It's not just Sony in the desktop market, but assuming Valve ever gets their shit together and actually starts outsourcing SteamOS to other third parties, which who knows, it's Valve, but that is an objectively better OS than Windows is for those handheld devices. So having like an Xbox platform that can run from like boxes to the portable handhelds probably is the smarter way to go.
Yeah, because right now, like, like Valve is weird. Nobody knows what Valve is going to do really. Like, and Valve could have been in this space. I don't know if you remember, but Steam boxes were a thing that they were doing at some point, and then they completely ignored it and completely dropped it because they just.
Now remember, you still have the Steam controller, right? You're like,
yeah, I used to have a Steam controller. I think I still have the Steam Link somewhere, maybe somewhere. I don't even know where it is, But like Valve used to be more into this, but they're sort of getting back. Like with the Steam Deck, I think Valve sort of sees like another sort of angle that they can work on, like which is sort of building this ecosystem of hardware that runs their software, right? And Microsoft probably wants to get it. Like, I mean, Microsoft already like wants to be like, we have all these services already, right? All of these services people are using already. Why don't we just make it so that our services run fucking everywhere, like on whatever hardware people, whatever OEM wants to build hardware that runs the software. Like, why the hell not, right? Like, that's the kind of
like what a good sell, right? Like this server stack runs Call of Duty and Warzone, so you should buy it too.
Yeah, exactly. There's a huge pitch that they can make, and who knows what's going to happen. I'm really curious what this and like press release is gonna look like. What is Phil Spencer gonna do? Like some exclusive interview with IGN? Like what's happening? Like I don't know.
Hard pivot. Just go for it. Is what this is. You can't. Gamers are bad. Like, I'm sorry if you identify as a gamer, like you're bad. But
hot takes on voxels. Yes, gamers are bad.
But
yeah,
more seriousness. You can't give a wishy-washy press statement on a change like this. You have to just go full depth in it, and then a little bit of backlash, but it'll settle down when people realize, like,
yeah, the backlash. Like, honestly, like gamers will get mad at anything, right? So like, who cares? Like, gamers are not like
Xbox fans. Get in line. I'm here for my Windows Phone. I still got one. Get in fucking line. Stop crying.
Yeah, just like, the Xbox, like, it's not even like I have seen some people. I mean, I talked about the whole reason people are quote unquote invested in the platform, and it's still like really, really silly. Like the amount of like people are just like, like really losing their minds over like, their.
I want to address this too. No one's taking away your digital game library. If anything, hopefully what this would push Microsoft, and I'm kind of wish casting at this point, but since we're already making a change, we're deprioritizing Xbox as a platform. Microsoft, please let Xbox games run on PC. There is no reason that the emulation that they use to run like old Xbox 360 games and backwards compatibility cannot just be a part of like the Windows Store. Like, okay, you need Windows 11, you need like a TPN, right, for DRM reasons. The hardware is already there in every Windows 11 PC. They should really just bring some of the Xbox runtime to PC so you can run at least like Xbox One, Xbox 360 games on PC.
I mean, they could even make it part of like Games Pass. Like, like you could just like bundle that with like, people love, like, companies love bundles. So you could just be like, okay, look, PC Games Pass, you can like emulate like Xbox or Xbox 360 games, right? Like there you go. Straight away, just like a bunch of extra functionality that people would surely find value in, right? So,
yeah, and it'll run like any PC because that was built for Jaguar cores.
Yeah. So, that's. Now we're like, what would we want if Microsoft does this?
And you could tell that me and you are not coming this from a gamer perspective. We're coming this from like a computer enthusiast perspective, where we just would rather be cross-platform and more open.
If there was one gamer thing, I would is can we get Halo 5 on PC? Like, can we just like get that one?
Can we talk about how they ported Forge to PC, but then never brought anything else of Halo 5 to PC?
Yeah. Just can we get? I know 343 is a little like understaffed, maybe under resourced. Maybe that's just like bring Halo 5 to PC while we're at it. I don't think it's going to happen, but everybody seems to forget that Halo 5 exists, Halo fans included. So I don't think we get
also, Console Wars is made up by corporations to get you to spend more money with them. Like, I just wanted to say this is a marketing campaign. You're not really like...
Yeah, people bought it. People bought what they're selling, like hook, line, and sinker. Like, it's kind of... Like, and I'm not like immune to this. I'm not saying that somehow as being a PC gamer, hashtag PC gamer, that I'm just like somehow immune.
I mean, you're all Team Red now for reasons I don't understand. You're out here buying shitty graphics cards because you don't like it in NVIDIA. Bro, your ray tracing performance is trash. Hold on a minute. Okay, everyone, Sadiq, I need this name and shame. Downgraded from a 2080 Ti to some latest gen AMD shit.
That's not a downgrade. That is in no way a downgrade, bro. Steve would be disappointed what he's saying right now.
Can you run DLSS?
I don't care about DLSS, bro. I got FSR.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You no.
Let's not turn into the like a GPU wars. This is the place for GPU wars. But
I'm out here using Apple Silicon, so I really have anything to say. Like,
yeah. So I mean, yes, I did buy AMD GPU to upgrade, and it is an upgrade no matter what. Its rasterization performance is way higher than a 2080 Ti. Anyways,
so this is going off the rails. So the last thing about this Xbox One third party is I think we are fans of this idea. I genuinely think that Game Pass should be on every platform. Like, we should have. I'm sorry to the PC gamers out there because I know y'all love Steam, but then like to say you like competition, but apparently hate installing anything but Steam. So, but I think there should be multiple app stores on every platform, right? Like,
I don't have a problem with multiple app stores, really. Like, I just want them to be better. Like, I just think like Steam has like set a standard, and like the Epic Game Store kind of sucks, just like from a software user experience perspective. Not just because it's like a deferred. Like, I don't. Like personally, Valve, Steam, I don't like if the game is. This is another thing. This is a whole other discourse in like PC gaming communities about like people who like refuse to buy games that are exclusive to the Epic Game Store, which does happen. And
it's hypocritical. I need to talk my shit first. That is hypocritical for people on PC to be like, I can only buy games from Steam. I don't like any other store. I don't want to fuck with it. I understand criticizing other stores like you're about to do with Epic Game Store that, you know, the app could be better, the payment flow could be better, or the Microsoft Store where sometimes downloading shit just doesn't work for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like those are technical complaints that I understand, but you cannot be like, I don't like app stores. I need openness. I like upgrading my hardware when I want, and then being like, I don't want nothing but Steam. That is a hypocrite.
Yeah, that's definitely like a point. People have bought some of this Valve's marketing, I guess, as much as Valve does marketing, that Steam is like the platform for like PC gaming, which has Valve has its own problems. But it's like, yeah, like why? Like I don't have a problem with games being okay. I kind of do have a problem with games being exclusive to Epic Game Store, but also at the same time, I'm not gonna refuse to buy a game if I want to play a game. Like I played Alan Wake 2 on in January. That is on PC. That's exclusive to the Epic Game Store because Epic Games published it. And like Epic Games provided funding for the game to even happen. So like yeah, so that's exclusive to the like I'm not going to refuse to play Alan Wake 2 because it's on the Epic Game. That's like a very weird stance to take in my opinion. Like it's I don't see how you're making any sort of actual point. So yeah, that's PC gamers
just buy a Mac if you want to think like that.
Okay, let's this topic is really going off the rails. Yes, let's just talk about anime.
This topic is going nowhere. So I got a segue. So we're having a heated agreement. So now let's have another heated disagreement and talk about some weird shit.
Anime bullshit. Yeah, that's
as people of a prior podcast may know. I'm what we call a LLC fast enthusiast. You know, I love Live School Idol Festival Club. In a prior life, that used to be the benchmark, right? You want to talk to me about your gaming phone? You want to talk to me about that ROG gaming phone? Do that shit run Love Live at 60 FPS, no throttling? That was the benchmark. Alas, both of the Love Live games, School Idol Festival and School Idol Festival All-Stars, recently shut down. And I just want to do a sidebar on sidebar. This is sidebar land. We're at the beach this episode. And talk about how you can just shut down a mobile game when I've been paying for a subscription for it and I get no refund. Can we just talk about that for a moment? Where I was paying for like the premium monthly thing and I got no refund.
Yeah, that's I don't do mobile gaming really. I don't really do mobile gaming, so this is like entirely out of my sort of purview. But this is a thing I've been hearing about sort of on and off from people. Like I know there's been several Jimquisition videos on it. That mobile games just shut, like they just stop. Like they're just like, here is the end date for for the service. Like the service is just gonna stop, or the app is just gonna stop working at this date, and no, you're not gonna get any refunds for any purchases.
And you don't get to export your data, and you don't get to like keep anything from it. And the game gets delisted from the stores, so you can't even re-download it if you want to. So that happened with that. So then they announced that there is a sequel coming out. It came out in Japan. Apparently, it was a rocky launch. So normally how these mobile games launch first, especially like the anime ones, they'll come out in Japan first, and then a few months later they will come to the West. Totally normal. This game, I'm just gonna read the fucking tweet. The sheet. Let me open this up. So the game will launch in February 2024. Pre-registration's open. However, we want you to inform that, or sorry, we also want to inform you that the global version will close its doors on May 31st, 2024, and cease in-app purchases accordingly. So let's talk about this for a moment. They just launched the sequel to the game. They shut down no refunds. In the same announcement, they announced that they are going to shut it down in 3-ish months, whatever February to May is.
Yeah, well,
and in-app purchases will cease accordingly, because for those 3 fucking months, you still have to pay for shit in the game, even though they know the game's going to shut down.
In one way, I respect it. Like, in one way, this is like very transparent. Like, look, if you want to play this game, you got 4 months. If you like, look, we're gonna shut this shit down in 4 months, and your purchases ain't gonna mean shit. So, just full disclosure. Like, in a way, I respect this, but also at the same time, it's like, just like, why? Like, what? Like, what's like? Do these games not make enough money for the people to keep running these shit? Like, what's the reasoning behind, like, just like
there is a leak on the Reddit, and now anytime I say leak on the Reddit, either I'm going to get arrested or there's something, it's just wildly incorrect. But the leak on the Reddit is, this is due to licensing. The license, so it's not the Love Live company that made this game, right? Some game studio, and they were contractually obligated to put out a global version as well. But now the license for the property is running up in May, so they have to launch it and then shut it down because they no longer have the license to operate it. So I have a question for you. How do you feel about licensed content? Specifically, we can make this a broader conversation. Let's use this game versus Forza being delisted every few years due to car licenses.
Yeah, I was so I was going to actually bring up Forza for that example, because Forza is like a big example in my sort of, and yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Like, really, it's bad on multiple levels. First of all, it's bad for people who want to go back and people who come to the Forza Horizon series right later, and they want to go back and play the older games, right? They want to just, I don't know, experience the older games. They can't, right? Because they have been delisted, no longer available. Maybe you can buy like a physical copy of some of those games. Maybe. Who knows if they will work? But like, as it's impossible to like buy them legally, and also which means that it's like very bad for game preservation, right? Like, historical game analysis or game preservation is like basically impossible, because it's like you have these digital goods, digital services, all entirely digital. Like that, a lot of modern games don't get physical releases, and even if they do, the physical releases are just like just a license file, basically. They're not actually like the content. So it's like, how do you preserve these like historical, like for historical reasons? Like, if you want to preserve, say, all the Love Live games, like, how do you chronologically like keep all these games, like, the history of these games, if you want to, like, I don't know, write up.
How do I finish the story of the game I didn't have the time to finish?
Yeah, how do you finish the story of the game?
Like, it's just YouTube playthroughs, I guess, but then guess what? That is so easy to be DCMA'd away.
Yeah, exactly. So like, the licensing nightmare is like, I'm not a fan of it for Forza, and like, it's going to happen to all the Forza games, because all the Forza games have licensed music in them. That's the big one, right? Like, licensed music, cars.
Well, it's multiple, right? Licensed music, licensed cars, licensed IP. How good is that Lego license for? How good is the Hot Wheels license for?
Yeah, that's my question. It's really, I don't know what the answer to this is. It just means that we're losing like sort of a bunch of stuff that, like, I don't know. It's game preservation is very, like, game preservation is an entire, like, that could be an entire podcast, like entire series of podcast episodes. But it's like game preservation in the modern era of digital media is like very, very difficult because so much of it is entirely controlled by the corporation selling the product. And the corporations selling the product are just like they don't care about preservation, right? Like they don't see this as like art history worth preserving, right? This is just a product that they're selling. And as soon as the product doesn't make enough money, or the company just goes bankrupt or shuts down or gets acquired or merged into somebody else, and it's just like it's gone. So it's just I don't know. It's kind of depressing, honestly, to really think about it for a bit.
Well, I mean, what's the alternative, I guess, in case of music? Just not use licensed music? Because there's another perspective where we could say, like, hey, get a perpetual license. But if you're a musician, have a perpetual license for a video game kind of sounds shit, right? Like, it sounds like this game's going to profit so much and I, as a musician, won't make money. I know for larger IPs, who cares? But for the music side of it, it's kind of weird.
Right. So I think this. I think what you could do. I mean, this is not like it will sort of damage the integrity of the art piece, I suppose. But you could just remove all the licensed music. I mean, that's one thing. For example, if you could remove all the licensed music from a Forza game, yes, it will definitely be like a lesser.
Didn't GTA do that?
I think Grand Theft Auto San Andreas might have like there was like a whole controversy about like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas like removing the radio stations that had like a bunch of copyrighted like licensed music in it, right? So I think that happened already. And it's definitely not a good solution because it's like a lot of the time licensed music is part of the experience, right? It's part of the art the game, right? Like experience. And like remove the music from Forza is definitely gonna make it a worse game and a lesser sort of art as it's not you're not maintaining the whole thing. The integrity of the integrity of the art has been compromised. And like I mean, what about the licensed cars, right? The cars are probably a different licensing scheme entirely. Who knows what those licensing schemes look like? I think those are maybe like perpetual licenses because car companies probably don't really care about the video game that much.
No, Porsche wasn't. Remember when like Need for Speed? No, when Need for Speed ran out of the Porsche, they had to like delist some games.
I mean, Porsche is a different. Okay, hold on. That's a whole another thing. The Porsche thing is like Porsche. It was like a whole ass contract with Electronic Arts EA, with that Porsche depictions of Porsche cars were exclusive to EA games for a long time. Starting with Need for Speed Porsche Unlimited, which I remember I played that as a kid. That's how old that is. But for a long time, Porsche cars weren't available in other video games other than ones made by EA, and which meant that Forza Horizon until 4, late in the 4 cycle, that the license the exclusivity contract expired basically, and sort of that meant that Porsche could playground games could put Porsche cars, like they could license the Porsche cars and put them in Forza Horizon. So Forza Horizon 4 and 5 now have Porsche cars. So that's a whole ass thing, right? Who knows if they're perpetual or not, like what these licenses even look like. If anybody knows, like this is one of those things that it's very hard to like actually know. Like if any game journalist is like, let's talk about video game licensing about like third party media, right? Like I want like what's licensing terms look like for cars in racing games, right? Who knows? So yeah, I think this is like we've got another topic on a similar note, right? Like we've got speaking of like media that's sort of being lost. Another anime sort of related thing. Crunchyroll is shutting down. So we got to explain something here. So Sony has over time
A monopoly.
has a monopoly over digital anime, right? Digital anime rights, basically, right? Like anime streaming is basically entirely controlled by Sony at this point. Right? Like there's no
except for a company called High Dive. Now, High Dive stands. Please don't get at me.
Why does High Dive have stands? Why does High Dive have like what?
I don't know if I should. I just want to say I do not want. Okay, listen. We got. Okay, so the kind of content you get on High Dive. All right. I didn't watch this show before anyone judges me. But remember that dog manga and dog anime I told you about a couple years back?
I vaguely remember this. Yeah.
as think weird anime stuff. And yes, that's the correct interpretation of what that show's about.
Yeah.
That's the kind of fine wares you find at High Dive. So High Dive is owned by AMC, I think. Like the same company that owns like the TV channel that The Walking Dead was on.
AMC, okay. Yeah.
Like that. Okay, no, yeah, AMC Networks, yeah, AMC Plus, Shudder, Sundance, Acorn, IFC Films. So basically, they do carry some normal stuff, and I do like High Dive, but yeah, they got a show. What they got? Yeah, you know the kind of stuff you wouldn't watch with your parents in the room. A lot of that ends up on High Dive, while Crunchyroll does not carry a lot of adult content. Although Crunchyroll does carry, and I'm happy we didn't have this show. There's like a phase a year and a half ago where every anime had slavery in it.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, like the one where they just buy slaves to sleep with. Like that was messed up. Crunchyroll for some reason doesn't draw the line at slavery, but at actual nude bodies, that's where they draw the line.
Jesus fucking
They
Christ.
carried like 4 shows about buying slaves, dude.
Oh Lord.
So basically, anyways, Sony owns Funimation, Crunchyroll. Sony also owns Right Stuff, which is like the biggest like web store for like anime merch in the States. So Sony is basically building up a monopoly on anime services in North America. And when they bought Funimation has a home DVD business, right? They would, I guess Blu-ray nowadays, but basically they would also be the distributor for anime, which is why they had a streaming service. Because a part of distribution rights, they could stream it as well, or you can get digital copies of it. So with this change, Funimation and Crunchyroll are merging, and I'm very upset because my watch history is not merged between the both because I use separate email accounts.
Oh wait, well, hold on. The accounts are merging, but there's gonna be data loss because reasons like you're not gonna have.
So let me explain the bullshit of data loss. All right. So basically, they turned every Funimation account into a Crunchyroll account. And if you had different email addresses, which I'm sorry, I use my Gmail account for my Funimation and I use my regular domain, right, for my Crunchyroll. I now have 2 Crunchyroll's accounts with both different watch histories because I did subscribe to Funimation for 2 years. And apparently you can contact support to try and merge them. I'm not going to call their support team. Especially with the kind of shows I was watching on Funimation. I don't need another human to see that. So I just deleted the Funimation merged account. And you might say, well, what about your purchases? So Funimation had a service where if you bought a digital, a DVD or a Blu-ray, right? You would get a code to redeem a digital copy. They are deleting all of those digital copies. So hopefully you still have that Blu-ray to rip it.
Yeah, okay. So this is like, at what point does this become like some sort of thing that we get a class action lawsuit about? Because like this is the kind of thing where, I mean, maybe in the terms of service, they mentioned like the digital purchase is like not really like a purchase or an ownership agreement or whatever, but like it's like some value added service that they're providing. But like, at what point do people just sort of like it's like this just feels like a scam? Like you paid for it's like a bait and switch, right? Like you paid for the Blu-ray service, thinking that you'd have the Blu-ray and a digital copy, and now they're taking away the digital copy. As far as I'm concerned, they're just like changing like what you bought like on the fly without any compensation, and they're not like giving you anything in return. They just take it away. They're just like, oh, you don't have this anymore. Like how soon before we get like some sort of class action lawsuit about this? Because it's just this is just bullshit. Like there's no, I don't see maybe they have contractual power over here, maybe, but like even legally this seems a little bit suspicious. So kind of like hoping that maybe some lawsuits happen, because this is kind of shit. People who bought stuff years, they're gonna lose shit, and that sucks.
Also Crunchyroll increased their price by $1.
Oh, of course they are. I mean, that's not surprising. Literally every streaming service has been like doing some sort of price increase. That does not surprise. Okay, my question to you is, do you think that Crunchyroll's subscription price is like worth the price you're paying? Like, do you think it's like reasonably like still like fine? Like it's not. It's like even with the price increase, like it's fine.
So they have 3 tiers, right? They have the fan tier, which is $8 a month now. It used to be $6. or 7, $6.99, I guess. Mega Fan, $10, and Ultimate Fan, $15. The difference between the Fan, Mega Fan, Ultimate Fan, regular Fan, stream on one device at a time, no offline downloads. Mega Fan, 4 devices at a time, offline downloads, and you get the Crunchyroll Game Vault, free gacha games, quote unquote free.
Oh my god.
And you get $15 off any $100 purchase in the Crunchyroll store, which is the company they bought, that Right Stuff company, every 3 months. Ultimate Fan, $15 a month, 6 devices at a time, offline viewing, Crunchyroll Game Vault, $25 off $100 purchases, free shipping on all orders, and you get a swag bag after 12 months of subscription. So you get a $10 probably gift bag after paying what, 12 times 15,
$80, $180 a year. You play $180 a year.
Yeah, not really worth it. The thing too about these tiers are the different devices at a time. Like, I don't know. I would in the past I would say, hey, let's pool our anime subscriptions together, right? Me and like 4 or 5 other people. But given with the industry's whole entire move towards cracking down on password sharing, I wouldn't even trust this, right? Give it a few months from now, I'm positive we're going to see, headlines saying Crunchyroll is cracking down on password sharing. So, I pay for the fan tier because,
yeah, you don't need to.
Anime is a solo hobby, and I don't need to watch enough. The times where I'm offline, like on a plane, I'm not watching anime.
Right. You're not watching anime on the plane. Like that's fine.
Oh, see, maybe if I had a Vision Pro, if I had a Vision Pro where no one can see the garbage I'm watching, I would probably throw that shit on 100 feet in my face. Wow, what a headline. But yeah, so I actually, what's the most fucked up part about this? The full Funimation library is not in Crunchyroll yet.
Why? Like, why? Is it just okay? I mean, I probably know why. It's some licensing bullshit, right? Like,
yeah, they have to renegotiate licenses.
Okay. But they're the same company now. What's stopping?
It's like 80% of it, so there's like 20% of stuff that still is yet to move over. So I would like to go back to what we said in a prior episode where XDCC on IRC exists. Now,
yeah, I mean torrents also still torrents. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying in the year of our Lord 2024 you should be downloading random files from IRC. But what I will say is I'm pretty sure some of those files have been untouched and in the same nice bit rate and the same great sub quality since I first downloaded them when I was 13.
Yeah, shout out to Call Girls. If you know, you know.
That sounds so wrong, bro.
No, Call Girls, just to be clear, people don't get the wrong idea of what the fuck I'm talking. Is it like a fan subbing and coding group who did a lot of releases of anime. I think they're still around. I don't know if they're actually, I haven't seen a new release on Call Girls, but maybe they're still around. I know like the Angel Beats era of encodes from them were really, really good. So, that's what I mean by Call Girls. I didn't realize how this is peak content. This is what peak content looks like.
All right, speaking about peak content, let's switch to the metaverse. Tell me about your thoughts about Disney investing into Epic Games to make Fortnite the most lively metaverse of your favorite Disney properties and brands that you love to engage with.
See, this is the thing. I don't give a shit about any Disney property. And I'm just like looking at this, and I'm like not even surprised. Like, I saw this in my feed reader, and I was like, of course, Disney, the company with a gazillion quote unquote intellectual property that wants to like merge with not merge, but like with invest in another company that's basically about plugging in your intellectual property into it and having it be in their games and whatnot. And like as part of this, so like just to be clear, what I'm saying here is like Disney is investing like $1.5 billion into Epic Games, into Epic, and it's with this is gonna come like obviously it's gonna have that means like there's more Disney shit in Fortnite. Obviously, that's like the big play. But also that Disney is going to be using Unreal Engine for their future games, which sure, I guess. And Disney has a long and storied history of video games, like with different publishers. EA for a long time was like the company that made Disney stuff, right? like all the Star Wars games that EA made, uh, and all that kind of shit. So like Disney's just gonna like be like,
There is no way you could say that sentence without mentioning Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you for that. How did you not just mention Kingdom Hearts?
I forgot about Kingdom Hearts. I forgot about Kingdom Hearts, bro. I forgot about Kingdom Hearts. I forgot about Kingdom Hearts. That's like, yeah. So I mean, Kingdom Hearts is part of this. This
That's self care.
I forgot. My brain was like, you don't need to remember Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, like, you know, Disney has a long history of making like doing collaborations with other game publishers to make their games, right? They don't seem to want to make games in house. Like they don't seem to want to like, you know, have like an in house studio that makes these games. Maybe that's a smart play. I don't know. I'm not like an expert on the. Maybe it is better for them to like outsource their games to video game companies that know how to make video games. Maybe that's just makes sense. So yeah, for I'm sure Epic is gonna like be involved in some sort of Disney game other than like Fortnite integrations. So I don't think I'm looking forward to it, but I hope the games are good for the people who like Disney stuff. I don't particularly care. And I don't. It's just the metaverse shit is just cringe as hell. I don't like. I don't know. I'm not into it. So how about you? I know you're probably more. What about Kingdom Hearts? What about Are we doing? Is there Kingdom Hearts shit in Fortnite? Uh,
Surprisingly not. Surprisingly not. I honestly like maybe I'm just an old head, but I'm actually shocked I never heard like the "When You Walk Away" song. Someone just like pops off a shotgun shot and then starts dancing with the Kingdom Hearts opening playing. That
yeah,
that's culture. That's culture, baby. That's what that is. I have nothing of value to add to this. I don't know why it's in the show notes, and I'm more than happy to move on to the next topic.
Next topic. Death Stranding for Mac, which also I don't know why it's in the show notes. Speaking.
You spent like I don't know so much time talking about hanging out with your good boys in Hawaii last week. I'm playing a game for once, and I'm delivering packages to connect America. Also, I apologize for any gross stuff. I said this earlier. I'm getting over a cold right now, so I'm still in like that headspace. That's why this was probably a little more off the walls we normally do. But as one does when they get sick, they play Death Stranding. So the Mac port recently came out, and before I even talk about the game, let's talk about some technical stuff of it. So it's a PC game, so it has like PC settings, but obviously I'm allergic to that shit. That's why I bought a Mac. So I just play on whatever the default settings are, which seems to be running in Metal FX upscaling. Better than FSR. I don't know if
Jesus, let's not, bro. Yeah.
But Metal FX 1440, like sub 4K-ish, around 4K native res of the MacBook Air screen, 30 FPS. So I guess I could probably tweak it to get to 60, but I don't care to do that because I'm not a PC gamer. But it looks well. It looks good. The fidelity of this game is very nice. The facial animations of all the characters, every cutscene to be rendered in engine is really good. And I like the environments. And with the gameplay of this game, because this game is about delivering packages, I find that it's a good podcast game. I don't even mean that in like a way that Braid said. You know, just walk around, you know, you're delivering your packages, and then you can just pause your podcast whenever a cutscene happens and go back to it. And it seems to work really well at the time I'm mostly playing this game. And this is my first Hideo Kojima game. I've actually never beaten. I played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid, the demo, Ground Zero, for last gen, but I like never actually beat it. I played like 20 minutes of it. I never played a Metal Gear Solid game. It's my first Kojima game, and
wow, okay.
I thought people were capping and memeing, but as soon as I open it and we have Die Hard Man and Dead Man and some of the lines these people are saying, I'm like, I get the impression I used to be like, oh, he wants to make movie, he wants to make cinema. No, he's making fucking anime for High Dive, not Crunchyroll.
Oh my god, that's the analogy we go with. Okay,
he's fucking making anime, bro. This is a good dubbed anime.
It does have a very anime-esque plot, right? Like I think, I mean, I've heard of the plot of Death Stranding. It's a very anime-ish plot. Like the whole thing about connecting people, like that sounds like a very like shonen anime bullshit.
So the plot of the game is the president of the United States dies after some weird, like, and America's already been destroyed due to something that happened in the past. So you are delivering packages and rebuilding the internet by connecting America on foot to get to the West Coast from the East Coast. And you have a baby named BB. I fuck with it. It's a good game.
I have at some point I feel like I want to play Death Stranding, but also at the same time I'm just like over Kojima as like a creator. I don't know. It's a weird balance. I really kind of like Metal Gear Solid as a franchise. Like I've only played the one Metal Gear Solid game, but I've like watched playthroughs of all the other Metal Gear Solid games, so I'm like familiar with what happens in the series and whatnot. But like I don't know if I'm ready to play Death Stranding or but maybe I'll play it one of these days. I'll give it.
Also, it was on sale for $20 when it came to Max. That's
okay. That's fair.
I don't have any experience with the iPhone port because it only runs on a 15 Pros and I have a 14, and I'm not going to upgrade my phone just to play Death Stranding or Resident Evil 4.
No, that's seems like, yeah. And also the iPhone port seems a little like it doesn't look too good. I mean, maybe it looks fine on a phone screen, but the screenshots that I'm seeing on this Eurogamer article of the iPhone 15 Pro version of the game seems a little blurry, a little low on detail, which is not surprising, but also it seems a little not too great. But so how are you feeling about this new era of Mac OS ports? I guess they're like, you get this game, you got Resident Evil. We're supposed to be getting No Man's Sky, right?
It's been out. Here's the thing. Let me go back to the App Store thing. It's extremely weird that No Man's Sky is not in the Mac App Store and is only on the Steam Store. And it's not because I'm anti-Steam. It's just that it was like shown off at WWDC.
That is
so
weird.
I don't know why
weird,
the Apple Silicon port has not made its way to the Mac App Store. But I haven't played No Man's Sky. So No Man's Sky is a game. I played a lot of it on Game Pass, but I don't know if I need to rebuy it and play it again because I feel like I got what I wanted out of it for like the few hours I played of it. It is a game you can get lost in. Like, some people love the shit out of No Man's Sky, and they've done a lot of great work. But yeah, that's how that game goes for me. But this new era of Apple Silicon gaming, I think it's interesting that it took until now for the hardware to be in a place and the software to be in a place where you can make these ports and not have a bad time. Because these are not, iPhone port aside, Resident Evil 4, RE Village, No Man's Sky are good ports. They're not as performant as the PC versions, but the PC versions have better GPUs, right? Objectively, even though Apple Silicon is great, the GPUs are not as strong as PC GPUs, and they do tend to scale too. I think it's the important thing. Where you can go from a M2 Pro, M2 Ultra, and it scales with the cores for better performance, which I think is going to help future-proof them in the for newer platforms and newer generations of Silicon. My issue is it's just not the games I want. Like,
right.
I need a shooter. I'm sorry. I just need like
I need Destiny. You need Destiny.
Not Destiny, but like I don't know. Like I would take like a
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Like the finals, Overwatch, some kind of esports title. They're getting these graphical showcases, but they also need to get games that people like just play. Yes, like that.
No, games that people play for a long time, like these live service, quote unquote live service games, right? Like shooters and MMOs, and I mean, Final Fantasy 14 does exist on Mac OS, I think, but
no, oh my god,
let's not talk. Let's
the Final Fantasy 14 on Mac OS runs in wine.
Look, beggars can't be choosers, and that's what.
WoW is native. WoW is actually the first Apple Silicon game that came out.
That's somehow.
It is. I've talked to multiple people about this, and no one seems to understand why. But like the World of Warcraft team at Blizzard has like a dedicated Mac team. They were the first to switch to Metal. It's weird. I don't get it, but shout out Activision Blizzard. Hopefully, y'all didn't get laid off.
Yeah, that's. So let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this really weird episode. I mean, another weird episode. We just kind of went off the rails as we do. That's not weird, actually. That's.
This is what happens when you podcast when you're sick.
Yeah. So I have a couple books. I finished up the two remaining of the Wayfarer series by Becky Chambers. I read Record of a Spaceborne Few, and I read The Galaxy and the Ground Within, which is the third and the fourth book in the Wayfarer series. Really, really good. Like excellent series. I recommend everybody.
Wait, that series sounds familiar. I gotta check my library for a moment. Hold on a minute. I might actually go to contribute for once in my life.
Oh,
Let me check my library.
Did you
Do I
actually
have a
read
Becky?
one of these?
I'm checking. Let me see.
Yeah, she wrote, I think, another sci-fi book, not in this series. But yeah.
Let me see. It is okay. Yes, the one I have in progress is I'm 13% of the way through The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet.
Okay, that is the first book in the Wayfarer series. So that is the first book. I read that first book in 2022. It took me like a while to get around to reading the rest of the books, but I'm glad I finally got around to reading them because they're really, really good. Some of the best sci-fi I've read in a long time. Highly recommend them. So those are my two books that I've read. I'm sure I'm still playing through Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. That game there's a lot of game in there. I'm like 40 hours in it. Like and it's like I'm like somewhat like slightly halfway more into the game. There's a lot of game in the game. So check back on that in like a month. Music. You got music recommendations? What do you got?
I got a music recommendation super quick. Yeah. I got That Mexican OT's Lone Star Luchador. I found out this album yesterday. It's good. It's his debut album. That Mexican OT. OT stands for Out of Texas. Rapper.
Oh, is that what it stands for? I didn't know. I thought it was just like the thing. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a mix of like Southern hip hop and some like Mexican infused kind of salsa stuff. It is a good genre mix. And the thing I really appreciate about this as a debut album is that a lot of debut albums, right, are like the same flow over every single song. He's trying different things. I don't think it works on every track, but at least you're getting versatility, right? You have a song where he's trying to sing. You have a song where it's like chopped and screwed. You have one that has like some salsa influences. You even have one where it's like like a cowboy in New York, I think it is, where it's just like an East Coast style flow. So he switched it up on the album, and I do appreciate it. It's a good listen. I had a good time listening to it.
All right. So those are our that's the podcast. That's the episode. That's what do we want any do you have any questions for the audience? Is there a question that we want to put to the audience? What
send me a link to the most shameful anime you've ever watched.
Oh my god, nobody's gonna send you anything.
It can be a DM signal.
Tell me if you have thoughts about Xbox going third party. I'd love to hear what other people are thinking. Especially people might be quote unquote invested in the ecosystem. Please let us know. What are your thoughts? Other than that, what's the email address?
Is Proton good? Is Proton good now? That's actually the question. But all right, yes. Where can we find you at?
All right, the Linux nerds will love that question. You can email us stuff, feedback at voxels.fm, right? That's the email. And you can find me on Mastodon at packetcat at 10forward.social and my website, sadiqsafe.com. Cristian, where do people find you?
All right, y'all can find me on Mastodon at lo-fi carrots at mstdn.plus. You can also find me on my website, trustfind.website, where I am. My domain's about to expire. I should renew that domain, actually. Thank you for the reminder email. That was a really weird email to come in at this exact moment. But hey, that's weird. Yeah. But all right, yeah, this has been the podcast. And until next time, pirate all of your anime and games. Don't play mobile games. Don't play Fortnite. Death Stranding, pretty cool. And listen to Texas music.
Yeah. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.